When you feel like you're spinning your tires, you feel like you're stuck at some point in that spiral and like nothing's changing and you're not moving through it. You're not coming to new questions. Like pause for a second and ask yourself, what is going on? Like what's going wrong? Take an actual assessment for a minute and realize nobody's going to judge you when you are just by yourself being honest with yourself.
Welcome to the Unapologetic Designer Podcast, where we chat controversial design topics and expose the raw truth about life as a designer. Welcome back to the Unapologetic Designer Podcast. I'm here with Coach Marissa, and I don't know, we never really announced that you were a coach. It just kind of happened and it's been going. And so Coach Jess is here.
Hi. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm happy to have you here. You're such an integral part of our team, and I would love if you just give everybody a little bit of a breakdown of what you do for the girls who are part of Sorority Legacy, all of that stuff, because you really pour into those women so well.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun journey for me. I was actually a DBA student in semester 2, which feels like forever ago now.
Another lifetime.
Yeah, as of recording this podcast, we're about to enroll semester 11, so it's been a long time, but I've kind of been around and was part of the alumni crew and sorority. And then last year around this time in August, I came on as sorority coach. So I handle pretty much all of the stuff with the girls who've graduated Design Biz Academy. I support their continuing growth and mentorship and kind of give them sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's group support, but we just make sure that they have what they need to be super successful and continue the momentum after Design Biz Academy, because it's such an intense program. I think students leave and they're
catch them.
Yeah, they feel a little bit like they're in free fall in a good way. They're just decompressing from so much work and so much assignments and so much focus. And then they kind of enter into my world of sorority and we find ways to keep it going. And we've seen some really cool scaling, some really cool results that way. So it's my favorite little corner of the TBC universe. It's so fun.
You're so good at it too. It's saying exactly what they need and pouring into them. And I always think if somebody has the opportunity to sit across from you, they will not leave the same. And I really think our girls feel that from you. So I'm so happy that you're able to pour into them in that way.
Totally. It's been a passion of mine, and I'm really excited to explore that in this episode, because we're going to kind of talk about how I sort of fit into the flow between the two of you. We talk in a lot of our marketing about how different the two of you are with action and with mindset and how that comes together. So it was really fun to kind of slot in there with strategy, which kind of felt like in some ways it was a bit of a bridge.
Yeah.
So it's fun to meet students in a unique space in their growth. Yeah, super cool.
What do you feel like most of our students need first?
Oh, after Design Biz Academy when they're done.
Just in our world. Do you think that they start with mindset first, or what's the kind of
they bounce back and forth, because it's literally they need the mindset, then they need the action, then they need you, then they need me again.
Yes.
And then they probably need you again at some point when they're scaling their business.
Yeah.
Totally. I feel like every student comes in at a different place, but the ones, I'm thinking of a couple of really top performers, those A player students that we've had, especially in the last handful of semesters. Those are the people who they're action oriented already, and they're ready to take action on the things we teach them. They might need some guidance in how to do that. So that's where Kenzie's input's really helpful. But before they're able to take on more of that, they might have some big mindset blocks, whether it's around pricing or it's around, am I allowed to put myself out there? Or is this really how I'm supposed to be doing this? Or what direction is next for me? And then they need kind of a container for all of that energy and all of that action that they're willing to take. They're not sure quite how to direct it. They feel ready and willing, and they know it's going to be hard before it's easy, and they know it's going to be an uphill battle in some respects. They're going to have to build some skill, but they need some of the strategy, some of, okay, what's going to work well for you? Maybe what worked well for her isn't for you. So how do we pick the right answer for you, the right direction, and how do we find a way to make that sustainable and something that's actually going to be profitable? I think that's what gets missed a lot. They are so ready to just sprint, and they miss, how do we make sure this doesn't burn you out? How do we make sure it highlights your strengths and your uniqueness? So that's where I love that you talk about they kind of need everything. They do bounce back and forth between us, but that's what I love about our little trio of coaching. We really can meet students in so many different places. It's fun to watch them come in, and their placement quiz at the beginning of Design Biz Academy really helps with that, but they also need so much of that at the end too. It's a journey. It doesn't end, right? They need us the whole way along in different ways, which makes it so fun to grow with them.
I love the one thing you touched on too is like it's totally custom to them and where they're going, because we don't give just the exact same advice to every single person. Like it really matters where you're at in your journey and where you're trying to grow your business. The thing that works for an agency owner who's aspiring to be an agency owner isn't going to be the same thing that works for somebody who just wants to keep being like a one-man show the whole entire time. So I really love that we can customize that feedback to them.
You know, we were talking about this episode and how we wanted to frame this, and we thought about, you know, if somebody's stuck, it's probably one of these three pieces. It's the action, it's the mindset, or it's the strategy that's missing. I think it'd be cool just to let people hear a little bit from like each of our perspectives. What does it look like when somebody needs to talk to you? Like, what does it look like when action is missing, or when mindset is the missing piece, or when strategy is the missing piece? Like,
I love that you went into that. You're just kind of guiding the episode. I'm not even the host right now.
this
And
is
I'm totally
half my
okay
this
with
is
it.
half my job on the team. I just like guide the flow.
I love
That's
it.
just really what it is.
I think almost, I wouldn't say every single designer that is thinking about joining Design Biz Academy needs the mindset work. Like some of them need action, but I'd say at least 70 to 80% lean more towards the mindset. And so when we have calls with them and they're like, well, I don't know if I can charge that much. Or like we ask them, what do you want to charge? And they're like skirting around the number. Like they're like, well, maybe $5,000, but blah, 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 blah. They feel bad. They aren't confident. They aren't excited to achieve this goal because they're already doubting that it's possible. And I think when we hear that, it's an obvious indicator that they instantly need Coach Marissa. What do you think about action?
I think it's a indicator that they need you whenever it's like a toilet bowl. Like they just keep cycling around the exact same thing and they're like, but I can't get it. I don't know. And they know what they need to do, but they're just stuck and won't go do it. And so then they need a kick in the pants, and we usually send them over to you and you take care of it. So I think that it's like, okay, now you're at the top of that. Like you feel very powerful. You're at the top of your mindset and you feel like you can kind of accomplish anything. And then they're like, yeah, I'm ready. And they're like gassed up about it. And then that's also when we send them to you too, because it's like, okay, they're ready to receive that action. And so then you like help them with their game plan. So I think.
Yeah, and then after they start implementing, they might find new challenges. And that's when your support comes in and the sorority program comes in, because then if they aren't getting the results as fast as they want, or they're having ups and downs, because everybody does, that's normal. Like you're that kind of like bridge, like you were saying, where they can go and like share and like stay up to date with everybody and like keep following along with these people that have been through the same experience they've been through. And like, I just want to say we've had so many more people staying in the program since we brought you in, because they really do need that.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them kind of move back and forth between the stages. I almost picture it as, I always think of this spiral, and the spiral goes, you can envision it as like going higher, you're going up to different like levels and experiences, or going down, not in a positive way. It's spiraling, you're coming back to the same issues and needs, but from a deeper and different place and as a deeper and different person. So you can come back, if you start with mindset and you're in the place of like, well, I just don't know, like, can anybody really charge that much? Does that really happen? Do people really care about creative work? Am I any good at this? If it's identity questions, like, am I good at this? Am I meant to do this? Am I worth this? Then Marissa's so great at guiding you through that. And if you start there, you're probably next going to need, okay, well, now I believe it. What does that look like in my own business? I'm probably going to be the one who's going to guide you through some of that and help you put the pieces together in a way that feels simple and manageable. Then you're going to have this big, beautiful plan that overwhelms you. And you're going to feel like, I don't know what to do. And we're going to say, you're going to go talk to Kenzie. And you're going to go talk to Kenzie. And she's going to say, this is your priority. Go do it. And this is the day I want to see it done. This is what I want you to do by the end of this call. Like, you're just so good at those accountability items that get missed so often. And then they're going to do something. And then all of a sudden that's going to bring up new emotions and new feelings because you just went and did something you didn't think you could do. And now you've got identity questions again. So we're back over there. Or you tried it and something didn't work. And you need to reiterate. So you come back and we strategize again. And you go try it. And like, it's this beautiful flow back and forth, which is just so fun. And I think you come back as you grow your business. Like if we're looking at that deeper spiral, right? All of a sudden you need mindset again, but it's not the same issue. I had a coach once. We were at an event that would be a yearly event. And they said, listen, if you come back next year and you're still sitting in the same seat at the same point in your business next year, that's fine. But do not let yourself be dealing with the same shit next year. Have different problems when you come back next year. And I think that's one of my hopes for all students as they experience all the things we have in the Brief Collective world and come back as deeper people. Come back and need each of us again in different seasons, but do not bring me the same issue.
Yeah.
You better have worked through it and
that.
Taken some action and worked with the mindset stuff and been honest with your coaches so we can help you, because we cannot help you through the things that you're hiding from us.
Well, honest with yourself. I think some of them lie to themselves.
Without really meaning to, yeah.
I don't have time for X, or I can't do X, or I'm just not good at blah, blah, blah. And it's we have proof of so many designers doing these things and getting the results that they want. So you can definitely do it too. Some of them, it might require a little bit more practice, a little bit more time, but it's definitely possible. And I think sometimes people literally lie to themselves and don't even realize it. So then they lie to us. And then it's they're not getting the results they want, but it's because they haven't even started holding themselves accountable.
Oh, totally. I think that's something designers, I wish they would just stop for a second and ask themselves a question. When you feel like you're spinning your tires, you feel like you're stuck at some point in that spiral and nothing's changing and you're not moving through it. You're not coming to new questions. Pause for a second and ask yourself, what is going on? What's going wrong? Take an actual assessment for a minute and realize nobody's going to judge you when you are just by yourself being honest with yourself. Nothing can go wrong from that. The only thing that can happen is you can figure out how to move forward. You're not going to get more stuck than stuck. You're not going to get more not going anywhere than not having what you need to do the thing.
Well, I think sometimes you have to sit in the uncomfortable situation so that you can learn the lesson, because life will keep giving you the exact same lesson until you're willing to clean your ears out and learn it and listen. So for example, in my own business this year, I had a big burnout situation at the beginning of the year. And I was just forcing myself, damn, why can't I get this new website and my new offerings and all this stuff? I'm okay, clearly that's not coming to me right now. I'm going to just sit in that suck and focus on something else and really listen to those lessons of why that's not happening. And because of that, now I have all of it ironed out and it's better than what it ever could have been. And so I think sometimes you really just have to be patient in that and also be okay with asking for help and be okay with man, what do I need right now? I'm not going to be able to give myself all of the answers because you're so in it. You don't have the capability to have that high bird's eye view because you're in it. So I think when you're in our program, we're able to tell when somebody is in that stuck situation. And then we all kind of meet and you're what do you think they need? And then we're okay, they got to go over here to Coach Kinsey. She's going to have to be the bad cop for a minute. And not the bad cop, you have this way about you of just telling them what they really need to hear. And it's not in a horrible way,
but it's also what the fuck are you doing? We've talked about this.
Yeah,
get it together. And making them believe that what we see in them, because a lot of them can't see that in themselves. And so we kind of hold up that mirror for them and help them feel really I love how much empowerment we give to each and every one of our students. That's probably my favorite thing about what we do.
And I love that you talk about that. That just brought to mind, and I use this graphic in every single sorority meeting because you've kind of made it into a core teaching of the program. But we have this concept of the empowerment circle. And the idea is that you actually can empower yourself, but it starts with doing something. Because if you just sit there forever and you think, I'm going to be empowered, I'm going to sit there in the mirror and say my affirmations for 10 minutes a morning, that's beautiful. But if you're not doing anything to back that up, your brain doesn't have any reason to believe you. So, and I also think, people are paying a decent price to come and be around this program and take in all of this information and have literally everything you need for your business from the day you start it to the day you make your first $10,000 client. That is how much you get in this program. It's packed full on purpose of stuff that we know works. Would you feel good about taking that program and leaving feeling like they just threw a lot of fluff at you and nobody asked you to follow through and do something that's going to move your business forward? you would feel very fluffy and nice, but you wouldn't actually have any results.
That's not going to pay your bills.
So yeah, I think part of the reason we have so many student stories that are just incredible and they just keep coming
Yeah,
is
it's like
because
blowing my mind each and we'll get a DM.
Right?
Just booked a 5K client, just booked a 7K client. Like, I am so proud of what we built. Like, I am so proud that like we literally chose to be selective and exclusive instead of going wide. I'm so happy that we made that decision because I feel like that's really changed the game.
And you can tell, like the feeling in that semester from the very first call, we always ask them like, who's a little bit nervous? And they're all like, yeah, but you can just tell that the camaraderie and the sisterhood and the level of understanding and support and the stepping up is like palpable, even over Zoom. You can feel it, that everyone in that room is like, has taken a stand, has invested in their business, is ready to do something that makes them uncomfortable, whatever that is. Sometimes it is sitting with the mindset stuff that freaks them out. And they're like, I think I need that, but I've never done that before, and it kind of scares me. Mm-hmm. Some people have done so much of that work that they know so many things, but they don't have much to show for it, and they really need the action. And some people have so much of both. They've been throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks for so long. And they're like, I just want somebody to simplify it and help me figure out what's actually going to be my next step. And they need to sit with strategy for a bit. But you can feel it in that room when it's just people, it's women who are ready to elevate. It's women who are ready to like actually step into something that's going to produce results. And they don't feel stuck anymore. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, that's why it works though. That's why our program is so impactful and gets those results, because there's not a lot of programs for designers out. I don't think that there's any program that sends you a physical workbook in the mail to run a brand design business. Like, there's a lot of unique aspects to our program, and that's why it is a big investment. That's why it is exclusive, but that's also why it works the way it does. And I think there are a lot of people listening to this right now who probably have like considered it or thought about it, but then they doubt themselves and think, well, that's not for me, or I could never do that, or I could never be that person. Do you both, as the strategy and mindset people, coaches, have anything to say to those individuals?
Raise your prices. It's always my first piece of advice, because that's where you need to start, because you're probably charging $200, $500 right now for brand design, maybe even adding on a website. I don't know. But you're doing way too much work for such a little amount of money. And that's why you feel so exhausted. No wonder you feel stuck. You are having to take on so many more clients than what you are capable of carrying to make ends meet. And so raise your prices. Like, you first have to believe in yourself that you are worthy of charging that much. And it's charging based on the value that you bring and not your self-worth, because we all know that self-worth is so priceless and we can't put a dollar amount on that. But start with raising your prices. Like, the design industry is undercharges left and right, and it's sickening how much money all of these other companies make off of designers' backs and all of our hard work and our ideas. And then you want to get pennies on the dollar, charge for those revisions. They take time. Like, sign a contract and charge more.
Oh, just like mic drop. That was so good. One of the parts of our mission about helping to break down that starving artist mentality, and especially when it came to sorority and kind of reworking how that program would be approached last year, was realizing that we wanted to help female-led design businesses generate $1 million through creative work. I think everyone listening to this is worth being part of that. And we're well on the way. I want to sit there. I need to calculate it. I need to go through our student success stories and like calculate how many students we've had hit those 10K projects, because it's mind-blowing. But I want more than 100 of them. Like, I want them to get there, and they so can, and we're watching it happen. Like, incrementally, they raise their prices and it just happens. So totally agree. That's a huge part of the belief. And it's part of, like I said before, choosing a new belief. I'm actually worth charging this much money. My creativity and my time and my energy and my effort and my skill actually deserve to be compensated fairly on something I can actually live off of and feel good and take deeper breaths with. Mm-hmm. And the way that you back that up is you actually raise the prices. You actually say that number on a call. You actually send that number in a proposal. You don't back down when the client says, that's a little much. You say, okay, well, back into your budget. What do you have available? Like, don't back down. My other piece of advice, if you're kind of feeling stuck from a strategy standpoint, is pause for a minute and try to decide, is it actually worth it? How much time and energy and effort and money are you going to spend trying to reverse engineer how somebody else got where they were? Because I remember being in that spot. I was looking at these other people who inspired me on Instagram and thinking, I think I could pull that off. I just have to learn how she did it. Okay, I'm resourceful. I'm going to look through all her freebies. I'm going to look through all her posts. I'm going to watch all her content. Like, well-meaning, not meaning I was just going to keep doing the free thing forever, but literally trying to figure out, how did she do it? Okay, what made that reel work? What made that project work? How does she phrase this? And trying to really study and learn from this. I was originally a wedding photographer for 10 years before I moved into brand design. And a big part of that, I studied people who'd done photography forever. I studied other photographers. I looked at their lighting setups. I looked at how they talked to clients. I looked at the gear that they used, and I tried to ask why. And I was reverse engineering their success so I could use that as clues to create my own. So as a designer, if you're feeling stuck, you need to take a second and decide, am I willing to spend all of that time and energy to figure out what she did, to then have to rework it into something that fits me and hope it works? Because you really don't know. You don't have a guide, you don't have a system, you just have bits and pieces that you got from all over the place, and now you have to Frankenstein your business together. I don't think anybody wants to do that. You can, but it's going to take you years and years and years to do. And that's why I think Design Biz Academy is such a powerful tool and a powerful system, because we've actually tested this with hundreds of designers by now. The three of us have all used it in our own businesses and actually refined this with real clients and real projects. Like, we know this works. There is so much space and support to help you tailor it to what you need. And it's going to save you so much work trying to stare at our Instagram, figuring out, how the hell did she do that? You don't actually have to ask that question anymore. You can just come and roll and we'll show you. So I think that's so powerful. But decide if that's actually how you want to build your business, or if you just want to invest in the right people for you at the right time. And it may not be this program. It might be something else. I don't know your situation. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what you need. But decide, do you want to spend forever trying to DIY your business, or do you want to learn from people who have what you want? Because I think that will change your life, realizing that you need to get around and listen to the people who've done it before.
And people are, well, side note, about to just slap that whole segment on the sales page, because fuck. But I think people are so confident that they think they can DIY it. Like, they're so confident in it. And there was one designer in our free community the other day, and she was like, can I get feedback on my website? And I went and looked at it. Whole website, copy, layout, photos, everything. I said, this doesn't feel like you. This feels like a bunch of other designers. I see familiar phrasing. I see familiar terms. This is not you. This is not your voice, and you need to find your own voice. And I can tell. And I think that that's happening to a lot of designers, and then they're not booking the high-ticket clients. Their business isn't growing the way they want it to grow, and they're sitting there wondering why, and it's because exactly what you said. They've just Frankenstein their business together, and they don't really know what they need to do to move the needle, but they are also struggling to find their own voice because they're leaning so much into what others are doing.
Oh, totally. And we're not going to get into this on this episode too much, but AI complicates the problem. We've said it when we're marking students' websites. I can tell when you plugged in your brand idea into ChatGPT and pasted all the answers onto the website. I can tell. It doesn't sound like you, it's not authentic, and it's not going to convert to sales. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you being the next student who says, I just booked a 12K project. Not copy and pasting from other people or pulling inspiration so closely you don't know who you are. And I was thinking, as you said that, so many of our DBA students end up rebranding throughout the process of the program, but particularly right after graduation.
Yes.
They do a really powerful rebrand. And usually it's one that sticks and that's really powerful and really refined, and it's one that they can actually run with. What percentage of our students do you think have done that and had a really great, successful one at the end?
Like 80% of our students have done that. And I think it makes total sense to me why they do that is because they've come full circle now, because we have them start with those brand foundations, but you have to have that first so that you can have that strong foundation to go through the rest of the program. And then at the end of the program, you usually have this epiphany moment where you're like, oh, it all makes sense. And, our program is hard on purpose. We have a lot of assignments and a lot of deadlines, but it's all strategic. It's all on purpose so that it can really simulate what it's like to actually run a business. You're going to have multiple things going on at one time. And so I think now that they've come full circle, they're like, oh, I get it, all comes together. Because when, you're really working on your identity, figuring out who you are, especially in having a business, you don't get it all in perfect cookie cutter, 1, 2, 3 steps. You're going to get a thing illuminated here, a little puzzle piece here, and then it finally all clicks at the end, and that's when it becomes clear. So I think that's why a lot of our students end up doing that. And that's always the strongest rebrand. It always sticks. that's usually when they send us the DM that they just got that like high ticket design client. And I love those moments for the students because it's like you can tell that they feel so confident in that. And that is just, there's nothing sexier than that.
And, even if someone hasn't gotten a client yet, because I think as they're looking at this episode thinking, okay, do I need mindset? Do I need strategy? Do I need action? I haven't even gotten a client yet. What the hell do I do? One of the coolest things is when you go through DBA, you have so many tools and you have so much practice, and you have so much feedback and so much community support, and you come to the end and you rebrand yourself and you feel good about it. You know why you made those decisions. There are decisions that are going to stick because you made them on purpose, and they have a broader view, like they're built long-term brand decisions. And you come out of that, and now you can speak from an authentic experience of you actually going through your own rebrand process. You actually have been your first and best client.
Yeah.
And that is the most authentic place to then go get a client from. I remember when I messaged you, Marissa, because you and I were coaching directly when I was a student in DBA. That was exactly 3 years ago, like now, which is crazy. That feels like such a weird full circle out of body thing to say.
Yeah.
But I remember sending you the mood board. I was working at a summer camp while I was finishing up the program. Like, it's one of those things that you just do when you're an A player and you're resourceful and you're going to get it done. You have a ton of other commitments, but you just make it happen. And you're just the person who gets stuff done. I remember sending you the mood board and being like, this is what I want. It really feels good, but it's so different from what I had before. Like, is that okay? And I remember you just saying like, yeah, like
Do it.
Go for it. Like, why wouldn't it be okay? Like, this is who you found out who you are. Like, it's such a deeper program than just, well, we'll give you the steps and you can go follow them on your own. There's almost no space to function like that in Design Biz Academy because it's so hands-on and it is so transformational. Like, I really do think our students leave as a different person because they get all of the things that they need. They get the action support, they get the mindset, they get the strategy, they get clarity, they get like a revelation of who they actually are through all of these pieces. Because you just like, it's like a baby learning to walk, right? They just do things and they fall down, they try again, they just keep going. And eventually they become something totally different with new abilities and like discovered new things. Feels the same. So let yourself be a designer baby. Like, try it out, play with some stuff, and see where you go. See who you figure out that you actually are, and you just didn't get a chance to learn it before.
And look how far you've come in
Isn't
3
that
years.
cool?
And like literally our other students, like we're gonna interview Veronica later today again, but less than a year ago, she had only charged $200 for brand identity.
Oh, that
Comes
gives me
into
chills.
our program, books a 5K client, books another 5K client, and now this month she's celebrating her first 5-figure month. That is under a year. That is wild. I would have never got those results on my own. Like, it took me far longer to get those type of results.
I was just talking to Veronica, was one of our sorority students this last week in a meeting, and I was saying, she was sharing about just how long it took of feeling like she wasn't really getting anywhere and like just continuing. And so we had this little side conversation on the idea of just don't give up. So if you're out there just feeling like I don't know what to do, and you're listening to this because you do feel stuck and you aren't sure what's next, first of all, if you really think you're someone who's resourceful and can be an A player, apply for Design Biz Academy. What are you waiting for? Like, this could be the time where you're saying 6 months from now, oh my gosh, I just booked my first 5-figure client. Like, really, that could be your life. I know it doesn't sound real when you're sitting in your basement charging $200 for a project that's going to take you 8 weeks and you're exhausted and you're confused. I know it doesn't feel like it can happen, but we've seen it happen so many times. So just decide that this is your semester and start. Like, start now and just do it. But realize that you have so much opportunity and support, and there's so much space for you to do that. And the change can be crazy if you just decide, I'm not going to give up when it doesn't happen in 2 months like I thought it would. Because it will never happen in the time you think it will. And if it does, you're going to have another life thing crash in on you that's going to make you feel like you're drowning anyway. Nobody gets out of this easy or automatically. You have to do the work. You have to become someone else. We've been talking about that idea, Marissa, so often lately, becoming. Because I think that's such a huge part of your brand and your journey recently, but of this program. It is not just about help you make more money. You will become a different person because you followed through, because you became someone you could trust. Like, you have to trust yourself before clients can trust you. And that means doing what you say you're going to do, showing up and getting the support from the people who know what they're talking about. And let you, like we talk all the time about, feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Ask the hard, scary mindset question. Go do the thing that Kenzie tells you to do when she says, do this by the end of the call or do this by the end of the week, and it freaks you out. Go do it and see what happens. Like, it could literally change your whole life.
And if you don't, I'm gonna call you out on it. Like, I think that's another reason they feel compelled to do it. I like have our students who have even graduated and message me and be like, "Yeah, I thought about not posting, but then I remembered you and your voice, and I posted." Like, okay, great, doing my job. But I think part of this is also it's not just about doing the work. You have to do the work and give it a 100% and more and believe in it. Because we have just recently failed students. Like we failed some students because just because you come into the program and turn in the assignments doesn't mean we're going to pass you. If we don't believe that you've done what you need to do to book high ticket clients, we're still going to keep supporting you. You're still going to have coaching call with us and we're still going to give you everything that you deserve. But we're not just going to pass you in our program just because you've turned in stuff. We have to see that transformation happen.
I love that about DBA, honestly. I think some people get turned off by that, and I think that is so the right, that's the right weeding out the people who aren't actually ready for that. Because if you're a winner, like if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I want that. Yeah, I want that 5-figure month from like 2 projects. Yeah, I want to be able to change my life with this. Yeah, of course I can do that. They did it too. They're not better than me. They've just been at it longer. Like if you know that that's true, like you want to be held to a higher standard. You don't want to have somebody baby you through it and not actually help you figure it out. You want somebody who's gonna
service.
Yeah, who's gonna look at you and say, I know you're better than this. Go do the work again. We've said that to students too. I think you need to resubmit. It's not very good.
Yeah,
because we just know it can be better.
Yeah. And people can take that either and as a negative and like go pout about it, or they can take it and be like, they're right. That's what I'm here for. Let me go do this again and let me do it even better. And we always try to word our feedback like that. Like, we're not just going to be like, this sucks. Period. Like, we're going to be like, this sucks nicely. And we know you're capable of more than this. We want to see that. We want to push you to get there. We know that you're better than what is being presented right now. Go show us. And so we try to make that feedback. Yes, it's honest, but it's also supportive and empowering at the same time. Like, do what you're capable of to the full extent.
And honestly, I wish we need to like let people have a little bit more of an insider view on what grading looks like. Maybe we should like show some fictional report cards. We won't like air out everybody's feedback, but like grading takes forever, you guys. Yeah. Like we're so intentional about that. It is not just like a pass or fail kind of thing. And I think that's what lends the two of you especially so much credibility with this program. You really want to see your students succeed to the point where you're willing to like stress yourself out with your own projects, because both of you are running your own design businesses, taking on your own clients. Like you've got stuff to do, and yet you'll sit there for hours poring over students' work really intentionally. And like the feedback is so good. And I don't think we've ever seen a student who has really sat with that feedback and used it and not seen results in the bottom line of their business and their income.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, our best students are the ones who take our feedback and do exactly what we say. Like, what if I'm like, yep, great. And then they go and get results. And I'm like, well, that was expected because you did what we told you to do.
And one of my favorite things, we were talking about this as well, because we're going to interview Veronica. She's a great example of someone who took the feedback, took action, and then sometimes comes back and says, as I was thinking about it, I thought this would be a great direction, so I went this way. Like she takes initiative and doesn't wait for us to like okay everything. And just made intuitive decisions saying, I think this is a better direction, I'm going to try this, or I tried what you said, it didn't quite work out that way, so then I did this. Like being resourceful, thinking on your feet, and just using what you have, but set yourself up to have more to use, right? Like enroll in the program, have more to work with, and go from there and watch what happens.
I also think an important topic is the investment and how that changes you and your money mindset, because so many designers think, well, nobody's going to pay me that much. Nobody's going to spend that much. Nobody's going to invest that much. But then when you do it for yourself and your own business, you realize, oh, there are people out there who are willing to invest this much because I did it for my own business. And it just helps it become a reality that people can invest thousands of dollars into services all the time.
I would love to. Let's talk about that idea, the investment in Design Biz Academy from each of our perspectives, from that action and strategy and mindset. So I'm thinking when someone's deciding, they're looking at that price tag and thinking, does this make sense for my business? You need to run your numbers. Like you need to be strategic about this decision. You need to know what has your income been and why. What will it be when you raise your prices to a certain amount. How many clients do you need to take at that rate to make enough to cover this investment? For most of our students, by the end of the program, like by the end of the 3 months, if they've really been applying themselves and doing what we say and taking all that feedback, they will have made their investment back before the program ends. That is not uncommon.
Yeah, or shortly after, like within months after graduating.
Totally. So think about it strategically when you're looking at your budget and your bottom line and your offer suite for your business. Know that we help you refine that in the program, but make those decisions when you're looking at that sales page and deciding, is this a good investment for me? Because it might be if you knew you could make it back in, call it 5 months. If 5 months from now you had made $11,000 from design projects, would you still be panicked about making this decision? Probably not.
Right.
But like, be strategic. If you know you're not willing to do the work, get honest with yourself and don't apply. You're going to sink yourself into a hole you can't get out of. Be real about what work you're willing to do.
Yeah. And I think that it has to hurt a little bit, right? On purpose. Because think about your $500 clients and then think about your $5,000 clients. The $5,000 clients treat you so much differently because they know that it's an investment. They're like, yeah, okay. Sure, I'll sign the contract, send the money right now. It's the exact same thing for the price tag of Design Biz Academy. We give you so much value and help you through so many mindset shifts and give you a complete gigantic action plan, all of these things to help you go and make a lot of money and
more than what it costs, a
people.
lot more than what it costs.
Yeah. So we didn't start out charging $5,000 for this either. I don't remember what our first starting price
I think
was.
it was like $1,200.
It was low.
And every time we raised the price, the results got better and better and better. And then the results now are like blowing us out of the water because of the people that we attract and because of the price tag. Like it really does change your mindset on money. Mm-hmm. And that flows into your business and your life and how you approach certain topics and everything.
And you're talking about how we give so much more value than what the program costs. If you're struggling with the mindset of that and making that shift, think about the work that you actually do as a brand designer and the value that your work provides for your clients. You are not providing somebody with a cute little design that will go on a sticker and sit in their drawer all day. You are providing somebody everything that someone will see when they interact with that business. How much money are your designs going to create for that business? Probably way more than it cost them to work with you, right? So you already understand this idea. If someone rebrands with you and you do a beautiful job and it's elegant and it's elevated and it's gorgeous, it's going to convert like crazy. And they make what? Like $200,000 next year because of the work they did with you, and you charged $200? Like, excuse you?
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. So a similar mindset here, right? Recognize that the things that you're getting in this program are going to take you so much farther, are going to allow you to charge $10,000 regularly. That is our normal for our students. We have a conversation around this all the time. It's not some out there number that we just like pulled out of thin air. Like, this is things that designers are doing regularly and business owners are charging often. Think about what other kinds of bills come across your ideal client's desk. How much do they pay in rent, in employee salaries? Like, think about any of their expenses compared to what they're going to spend with you, compared to what you're going to spend on this course. Just puts it into perspective a little bit more, hey, to think about that from a bit more of a zoomed out
Yeah,
lens.
Absolutely it does. You have to invest. How are you going to expect somebody else to invest in you if you're not even willing to invest in yourself? So I remember you told the story one time about like a $300 course being a lot for you at that time, but it made you feel so good. Yeah. And same thing for me. I mean, even investing in the new MacBook that I have, that hurt. And I was like, dang, that's a lot to see go out at one time, of our bank account. But like, I needed to do that to make my business better.
We've seen worse. Way worse.
True.
But yeah, I think that goes for anything in your business though. Like, I think making small investments at first and gradually working up to the bigger investments is a way to ease yourself into it. I mean, like when I started, I did invest in it was $350 a course. All it taught me was how to use the one concept method. And I went on to book my first $5,000 client using that method. And so from there, I was just like, oh, investing in my business is life-changing. Let me keep going. And then I got the expensive photographer, and then I got the more expensive photographer, and we pay her over and over every year thousands of dollars because it really does bring results, and there's ROI in investing in your business.
Any other thoughts that come to mind when you're thinking about that enrollment and someone's looking at the price tag, but they've got an action hang up? Like, what might that look like?
I think that you're never going to be able to invest comfortably. Like
Amen to
anyone
that.
that needs our program is not going to be able to look at their bank account and be like, yep, that's easy. Yes, it's gonna be, this is scary. I'm nervous. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to make my money back. I feel almost sick about this, but I know that I need this. And then that's that fear you talk about all the time. It's just clicking enroll anyways and joining. And you can have a one-on-one call with us before you even enroll to like, I think that really puts people at ease because they get to talk to us directly and realize like, yeah, we actually are there the whole time coaching you. And like, we genuinely get to know you.
Totally. That's a whole nother podcast episode that we need to make. How do you know when something's a good investment and it scares you versus when you're making a bad one and it scares you and it should scare you a little bit more? That's a skill to learn. But I think like the A players, the people who just smash it out of the park in DBA, you know yourself, you know you're resourceful, you know you're an A player, you know that you're reliable, you know you follow through, you know who you are. Like you can identify it and you know that you're here attracted to us in this program because we are those kinds of people. And you are too. You see it in us and go, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I could fit in there. If you feel that, it's probably a good investment even when it freaks you out. But if you've never been that person and you're not totally sure you can be that person, do some soul searching first. You might find something that surprises you, or you might figure out that this maybe is not the right step for you right now. But I think people know.
Go apply using the link in the description.
If you want to hear more designer success stories, go ahead and subscribe to the Unapologetic Designer podcast. If you want to join our design community at the Brief Collective or enroll in Design Biz Academy, information on how to do that can be found in the description.